from the Oak Wall Studios in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Hello, this is Jesse Oakley III, and welcome to the Oak Zone, where we provide positive words of wisdom for you. That's right, you, the happy people. Now, Monday through Friday, I will give you my show on YouTube called The Oak Zone. But today is Sunday morning, and it is time for the Sunday morning chat series. Here, I get to interview a plethora of positive people that are making a big difference in the community. You have positive people here in the world, and I tell you what, happy people, you will not be disappointed with today's episode. For today's episode, I have with me a very dynamic woman, a woman that's an expert on love and romance. And oh boy, I can't wait to get right into this interview. So without any further delay, please help me welcome from True Love Knots, Maria Romano. Maria, how's it going?
Oh, you know what? It's going great, Jesse, and I'm so thrilled to be here with your Sunday morning viewers or anybody else that's going to view it after Sunday. Because you know what? What a great, it's the beginning of the week, right? And the beginning of the week is the time when you set those intentions. And it's a happy time, right?
Exactly, right? Happy time for the happy people.
That's right.
All right, so
And
without
I,
go ahead.
yeah,
Go ahead.
no, I mean, happiness is just, I love that. I love being happy. I am, one of these high energy people, which you can see. I see your high energy. We're probably very equal. But you know what? When you are around love, which I know we're going to get into, it makes all the difference in the world.
All right, and without any further delay, let's chat.
Okay, go for it. I'm ready. I'm in the hot seat, right?
Exactly. Actually, it's more lukewarm, but it's a little bit hot. Nevertheless, let's go and get started. And could you describe what True Love Knots is all about?
Yes, be more than happy to. So, when I was in the rental car industry, Jesse, for many, many years, my late husband and I, and actually we sold our rental car company in 2010. And I needed to do something else. I wanted to do something. So I went to a wedding at the Las Vegas Country Club. A friend of mine got married. A woman was the officiant. And I said, I want to do that. I want to be in an industry where I am happy all the time. Not that the rent-a-car industry wasn't happy. It was a different type of industry. We ran our own company. It got to be quite large. And as you know, you're managing people, you're managing, as far as customers and creditors and so on and so forth. So I said, okay, I'm going to do this. So I actually had neighbors across the street that were in the business, and they kind of helped me. I got my licensing, I applied for it, and then I did a mock wedding. And I actually went out and I pounded the pavement. And this was, in 2010, went to every chapel on the strip, went to as many freestanding chapels as I can get to. And I gave them my resume, and I also had a mock CD with the wedding ceremony in it. And then, so that way, I was interested, of course, in breaking into it. And it took me a little bit of time. I have to tell you, it actually took me a good couple of years or so. And I finally, a couple of hotels gave me a chance. And the only way they gave me a chance, and even though 2010 was not long ago, okay, when I started, is they had me come in as the alternate minister that would perform commitment ceremonies. And the reason why is because you had many ministers, that had their beliefs that you couldn't marry couples of the same sex, the same gender. So that's where I came in. And as we know how life has changed, everywhere you go, you can marry couples. So I started off doing that. And from there, in 2012, my late husband Frank passed away, and Frank had a heart transplant 15 years prior, so we always knew we were on borrowed time. So I was married for 33 years, and at that time I was in my 50s, past my middle 50s, and I waited a couple of years before I decided to get back in the dating world. I felt I was still young, and when I got back in the dating world, Jesse, I realized, oh my God, like this was going back to the future, right? Because if you've been it's like being out of date, out of touch. I mean, 3.5 decades, I hadn't gone on a date. And people, they would what? They do a lot of online. And then you got to get out or get out and meet people and network. So I realized when I got out there that this wasn't easy. I got my rear end kicked and I learned, and I realized there were a lot of people my age and older that needed a helping hand with how to date again, and especially when you've been out of it for a while. So that's where I created a course going from just one to a plus one. And I work with people that are 50 plus. I'm not saying they can't be younger, that need, some coaching, some guidance. People that have either been divorced, right, or they've been widow or widower, and they need to develop the skill sets again. Because sometimes when you get back in the dating world, and I've coined this phrase and I used it in my book I wrote, and I use this phrase, boomer's adolescence sets it. That's where you don't, yeah, that adolescence, but you're a baby boomer, right? So it's been an interesting journey, Jesse.
Yep. I tell you what, you just hit the nail right on the head, especially with True Love Nights and how it got started. And you talked a little bit about the challenges that are there. And my question for you, with what's been going on with this business of True Love Night, is what were some of the best moments that you experienced?
Well, first of all, some of the wedding ceremonies, Jesse, that I have done, I have to tell you, were just absolutely wonderful. So, for example, I'll never forget, I had a wedding ceremony in 2017. It was my last wedding of the day. It was on the 14th of February. And I was over at the Skyline Chapel, which is now the Link.
Okay.
And this was with Vivian and Sam. And Vivian and Sam, so Sam had the most gorgeous blue eyes, and Vivian was just darling. Well, I want you to know that Vivian was a cougar, Jesse. She was 92, and Sam was 87,
Wow.
right? And she came down the aisle on a scooter, and he was in a walker. They met 6 months earlier at an assisted living and wanted to get married. And they made the trip in from Arizona with some friends. So I share this story with when people ask me. This is probably the most significant that I can say. There was another one too, which I'll share with you briefly in a moment. But this one really stays with me, especially when I'm dealing with clients that think that they're too old, they're not good enough. And that's not true. You're never too old to find love. But I do have another one story for you that I think your listeners love. So actually, was it March or April? Yeah, March, I think it was, or April. I was at Chapel of Flowers, and I did my first wedding with a couple that was blind. And that was really interesting. And they met that way, obviously. She was lost her sight, and he was her teacher, teaching her how to use the computer, with the braille and everything else, and how they use the clicks also when they're on their phone. What was interesting is I guided him down the aisle, then I had to guide her down the aisle, and they actually read their own vows. What they did was they had it on their phone, and they would go through the clicks and feel it, and they actually said their own vows. I mean, it was incredible. It was incredible.
Wow. Those are some darn good stories that you went through. Oh my goodness.
Oh yes, let me tell you, yes.
And on the side note, you really had me fooled. You look a lot younger than what you mentioned earlier to this interview, and I keep saying,
Thank
"Wow, this is just a vibrant lady here."
Yeah, you know what? When you're around love, you have, but I have to tell you, I handle all areas of love. I help, I work with people that are getting married, right? As far as I marry couples, I have couples and single people that are trying to get back in the dating world. And so a lot of people have put that on hold, Jesse, because of COVID. But now that more people are getting, acclimated, they're getting vaccinated. I got my vaccine. I just have to tell you, got my vaccine, and they're getting back in the dating world, and now they're ready to get back there. But during this whole pandemic, I also decided that I needed to teach people my craft. So I just started working on it, and it's actually done, but it's going to be launched. I have a course on how to officiate wedding ceremonies. And not just here, you can do it, anywhere as far as in the United States and Canada. So I just launched that because I think that it's important to share with people that if you're looking to do something, whether it's on the side or maybe you have some time and you're retired, this is a great industry. It's a great industry.
I bet it is. Now, let's say that you meet someone that is inspired by the stories you shared on this on this interview, and they are just amazed with what you are doing and what you have done. If you were to meet somebody that says, you know what, Maria, I want to do what you're doing, what advice would you give that person?
Well, you know what? First of all, I'm the type of person, if I say I'm going to go do it, I do it. So I live by the four agreements. Okay. And that one of them is your word is Bible, right? So if you really, and if you put that out there and you really want to do something, and maybe you want to do what I do, or just anything in general, what you have to do is you have to maybe do some observation, a little bit of research, and make a decision and act on it. And that's the key thing, of you have to act on it.
All right. And you always got to take that first step because a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. Oh my goodness.
And
Now,
you have to make a commitment. You have to make a commitment to yourself too, to
yes,
finish that journey. I think that's the key thing, to get to that destination. And then you get on another journey. You get on another train, right, Jesse?
exactly. You're speaking the truth right there. Now, how can more people know about your business? Where could they go?
Oh, so simple. It's Maria. Well, actually, it's True Love Knots. It's TrueLove and then KNOTS. So it's knots like KNOTS.
Mhm.
And they can also email me, maria@trueloveknots.com. I am accessible. If I'm not performing a wedding ceremony or if I'm not on a call with the client, I take my phone calls.
All right.
Remember, I go by the four agreements.
Exactly. And for those high people that missed that, do not fear because the links that Maria just mentioned will be in the description right below. So after this interview, you could come check out Maria's business and just click on those links and it'll take you right there. All right. Now, we are almost at the end of this interview and it is shout out time. Now, is there anyone that you would like to give a shout out to for making all this possible?
Well, first of all, I can't believe that we're almost done because I had so much fun with you. So I got to give you a shout out. And the reason why is giving me the opportunity to share my message. And what you're doing is you're sharing other people's message. And that's a gift, because you never know what one person's going to say that's going to change somebody else's life. So I'm shouting out to you, Jesse.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I feel quite honored and this is just mind blowing here. Now, the last question I have for you. Now, my people, my crew, they're called the Happy People, and they watch the Sunday Morning Chat series as well as the Oak Zone. And they are blown away by what the information and the stories that you shared with us. If you could offer one more solid words of wisdom for my crew, the Happy People, what would it be?
Well, what I do recommend is moving forward in life, and go forward, and don't try to be what other people think you need to be. You need to be true to yourself and come into alignment with yourself and be who you are. And when who you are, okay, and you start fulfilling yourself and your passion, is when you're going to spread your gift. So spread your gift. Everybody has a gift, Jesse.
Oh my goodness. That is a perfect bookend to this wonderful interview. And on behalf of all the happy people that are watching this Oak Zone Sunday Morning Chat series, I thank Maria for an awesome, awesome interview and experience. Really appreciate this.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Now, this concludes this episode of the Sunday Morning Chat series. And if you want more plethora of positivity, go to YouTube, type in my name, Jesse Oakley III, hit the subscribe button, like, ring the bell, and share these videos with other happy people that you know. And once you get onto my YouTube channel, go to the link that says Sunday Morning Chat Series, where you can see all the interviews I've done with plethora of positive people that share with different stories as well as different words of wisdom, like my friend Maria. And until then, you all you happy people, you take care and always have a great day. Bye.